Have you ever had a program or tool that you used for years inside your business and you know it's time to make a change? Well, this episode, I am sharing the behind the scenes where we switched from 17 Hats, which was a CRM that I've used for close to a decade, maybe we'll say 7 or 8 years. And we have now switched to Honeybook. So I'm going to share a little bit about why I made this decision, why this change was the right time for my business. And I'm going to provide you with some questions that you can ask yourself when you might be feeling like you're getting some shiny object syndrome, or you're trying to figure out if it's the right time to make a shift like this in your business. Before we get started, don't forget that you'll be able to find all the show notes at elizabethhenson.co/E114. elizabethhenson.co/E114. This is episode 114 of the Messy Success Podcast. We also have some capacity to take on some new one-to-one marketing clients. So if you consider yourself to be a high-performing artist or a creative leader and you want to master your community-based marketing, then my team is for you. In-house, we have a creative director, a Pinterest strategist, a video editor, a content creator, and we are so excited to finally start saying it out loud and making the ask and letting you guys know that we are ready. So if you want marketing to be one of your biggest focuses in the upcoming quarters or the upcoming year, then reach out and we'll get you scheduled for a free strategy call just to see if anything that we offer is right for you. All right, who is ready to talk about Honeybook versus Flowdesk? Welcome back to the Messy Success Podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth Henson, and I help high-performing artists and creative leaders grow and scale communities so that marketing is easy. This podcast combines business tips and real-life experiences in being the creative entrepreneur that we all are. So you're in the right place if you want to leave feeling a little bit more confident and normalize these day-to-day struggles that we all experience as business owners. And you can do this while mastering your marketing so that business is light and easy. I'm so glad you're joining me here where we can get a little bit messy, a little bit creative, and it's okay to be super ambitious. Let's get started. All right, you guys, I am super excited about this episode, not because of the nitty-gritty of comparing Honeybook and 17 Hats, but because I feel like it's really important for us to have the tools to make quick and confident decisions in our business. And I'm hoping that this episode will leave you feeling really good about making decisions around tools or platforms that you're using on a day-to-day. So I've been using 17 Hats for a long time and I love it. I actually have no complaints. And I don't want you to think that there's this perfect platform out there that does everything, that's going to solve all your problems, right? We can't look at these platforms or these softwares as like the perfect one. There is always going to be other things out there to use. There's always going to be things that seem better, that seem simpler, that seem more affordable, all the things. And we decided to do this for a few reasons, which I'm going to go over in this episode, but most importantly, I don't want you to ever feel like I'm cramming a software or platform down your throats saying it's the best one, because I don't even necessarily believe that. Our big switch from 17 Hats to Honeybook really wasn't about the features. And it was more about the ROI and the cost and doing an audit of my monthly expenses. And since I'm already there, let's just talk about that piece of it. So 17 hats, again, super affordable. The price was not a big deal. But I noticed as I retired from weddings and I'm really only photographing a lot of my repeat clients, that I wasn't actually using 17 hats anymore because I was primarily using it for my wedding business, for invoices inside the marketing agency, and my scheduler. And I wasn't super happy with the online scheduler. When I say online scheduler, I mean the ability for someone to access a calendar and book a call with me, like Calendly, for example. So 17 Hats has like a built-in Calendly feature. The part I do love is you can actually really easily set up a paid call. So I did this for my strategy calls, which worked great. Again, no gripes on 17 Hats, but I had bought many years at a time because they were doing a big sale when they were still pretty new. And, I invested on the front end of 17 Hats and I had it for like 4 or 5 years. So my time was going to expire and I would have to decide, do I want to renew or go to like monthly, or what am I going to do next? Because I'm not really using it that much. Once I got set up on ThriveCart for recurring invoicing and just made a lot of other changes, going from being a totally service-based business to kind of now I'm partially service-based and partial like digital products and so forth. I just didn't need it. So I also found out that Honeybook has their educator program, and you can apply to be a Honeybook educator and actually get the CRM for free. Now, I don't know if they're still doing this, so I don't necessarily want this to be like some big plug for their educator program. Of course, you can go check out the website. It was really easy for me to find and to apply to be a Honeybook educator. So by all means, if that piques your interest, just go to their website and look. But this was a while ago that I filled out the application and got the access. I had to then, wait for my 17 Hats to expire and make the transition. So this was all probably a 6-month to a year long ordeal. It wasn't something that happened overnight. So if they're no longer doing the educator program, that's not what this episode is about. Okay. But this just happened to be a perk that as a creative educator that I could access. And while I found that out, I knew I was also really trying to minimize our monthly expenses. So if I know that there's a program or a platform that I use, I don't mind paying for it annually or monthly, but there's a lot of other programs out there that I'm wanting to invest in. And this means we have to be constantly auditing the platforms and programs that we're using. Is this still worth the investment? Is this still providing, a really good profit margin on the investment? Are we still using it? And for me, the are we still using it was true, but there are plenty of I could have switched to Calendly for a fraction of the cost, right? So my main motivation for being in 17 Hats at this point was the calendar feature. And I knew I could find that much more affordable somewhere else because I no longer needed the bookkeeping feature. I no longer needed any of the workflows or anything like that. I had just moved on to other programs. So I was auditing all my monthly expenses. We also made another big shift from Kajabi to ThriveCart. I'm happy to do an episode about that if this interests you guys. But the 17 Hats to Honeybook one, I feel like is more recent. It's more top of mind. I know that Honeybook has a ton of new features, and I even saw their ad on TV recently. Like, how cool is that? So my main driver of the decision was a financial one because I didn't want to renew in 17 Hats because I wasn't using it enough to feel like reinvesting in it was the right move. And then I knew I still wanted a little bit of a CRM. So Honeybook, being complimentary, as a Honeybook educator was perfect. And I think I got in at just the right time before they made a lot of these changes to their affiliate program. I am an affiliate for Honeybook, but honestly, I've put zero effort into it until this podcast. And again, the podcast isn't really about how great one platform is over the other. I think they are both great. I am finding that one is stronger than the other in this category, and then the other one is stronger in this category. So I'll try to break down a little bit of that, but I think most importantly was I did an evaluation of the money that I was spending, and I know anything that I can take away from my business as a monthly expense right now is a win. And so that felt really good. And Honeybook obviously has all the features that I need. Now, their scheduler is fairly new, but honestly, my original plan was to switch to Honeybook and just have it if I need it for the photography business. If I want to set up invoices, questionnaires is another big one that we're using Honeybook for. And then I was just going to use Calendly. I wasn't convinced that Honeybook's scheduler was going to meet my needs. So I had already financially decided that I was just going to do Honeybook and then Calendly. However, once I got into Honeybook and tried their scheduler, it's actually doing everything we need it to. So I haven't even had to invest in Calendly yet. And I may eventually, if I decide that we want to set up Calendly teams or anything like that, I might. But right now, the Honeybook scheduler is working, and it's actually working a little bit better than the 17 Hats one was for a few various reasons that are super hyper detailed and I don't necessarily need to go into. But it is working a little bit better. It connects more seamlessly with Zoom. The only downside is they don't have the one that you can just set up a meeting and have someone pay you right away, like 17 Hats did. I do think they'll eventually add this feature. But the workaround was really easy because we have ThriveCart. We are loving ThriveCart. We are using it for a lot of different things. So I just set up a ThriveCart payment gateway. And then as soon as someone purchases, then they get access to the calendar to book that strategy call. Very easy workaround. I just had to really think about the customer. Do they want to see the calendar first and then pay? Or do they want to pay and then see the calendar? And the feedback that I got was that it doesn't really matter. So there was nothing wrong with setting this up as a alternative versus people picking the time and then having to pay. They're just now purchase and then they pick their time. And I just can reassure anyone out there that we do have availability, because I think where I've seen this backfire is when someone goes and makes a big investment and then they get to somebody's calendar and they're like, and they have no availability for 2 months. One of my friends even had to book a call at like midnight our time because she didn't realize this person was only offering, paid calls in this like tiny window of time that was convenient to their time zone. So I can say with confidence that we, provide very well-rounded times. So I wasn't worried about someone having that experience and it not be a good one, because you guys know how passionate I am about customer service and always making a really nice experience for the customers. Okay, so 17 Hats versus Honeybook. That was a big one for me, was the scheduler. We have moved all of our questionnaires over. So when I say questionnaire, I mean someone books a marketing call and we want to ask them a few questions so that we can really maximize that time together. I love being able to look at someone's website, know what their pain points are, know exactly what they want to walk away having learned before I get on a call, because it just helps me write out our itinerary and really get the most out of our hour together. When I was doing general business coaching, I still did questionnaires, but, I kind of felt like they were just paying for my time and I was going to show up and they were going to ask questions and I was going to help them discover their next action steps, right? Whereas with these marketing strategy calls, I'm already taking a methodology that I know and I'm infusing it into the areas that they want to improve. And it just really helps if I have those questionnaires before, and Honeybook does all of that. We're still working out the kinks, trying to figure out how to get the reminders just right. But they look beautiful. They're branded. There's no real downfall. Now, I will say there's a feature that 17 Hats had that I'm really missing in Honeybook, and that is their live view. So if you ever just want the URL to your questionnaire or to your invoice or anything like that, you can click live view and you can just copy and paste that URL, and it'll take them directly to their questionnaire, invoice, etc. And you can, hand email anybody anytime you want. That was really, really, really came in handy. So Honeybook doesn't have that feature that I have found. We're still working out the kinks on how to send reminders for people who haven't filled out their questionnaire, etc. So there's still work to be done over there. And that's why I didn't really want to focus too much on this episode being on what makes Honeybook amazing, because we're still learning. And so much of this kind of has to be learned in real time. Like, you can't master a platform until you kind of get your hands dirty and you just start doing it. But so far, we've been really happy with the switch. I will say, if you're a very, very busy business owner and you're constantly stressed and constantly overworked, don't take on a huge project like this alone. Amanda on my team is very familiar with Honeybook. She uses it in her own business. So she helped me, and she still helps me when I have questions or I don't quite understand. And I didn't have to do this big shift alone. I had help behind the scenes. We did it slow, so I wasn't rushed. So if you know that you have any platforms that you're considering switching away from, write down when that renewal date is, whether they renew monthly or annually. You want to take down that date. So I knew that 17 Hats was going to expire like April 4th or something like that. So we worked backwards. So I knew come March, this needed to be a heavy focus if we hadn't started yet. So you can take that expiration date and work backwards and just be sure that it's a project that you're moving in your business. And this is one of the ways of thinking that has been really transformative for me as a business owner, is really thinking about everything I want to accomplish as a project and not like a right now. Like, I'm not going to sit down at my computer and then all of a sudden decide that my website needs work. And then 5 hours have gone by and that's all I did is work on my website. Like, I don't work that way anymore. I used to when I was a photographer and a solopreneur, and, I wasn't managing as many different things and as many different moving parts. Whereas if I were to impulsively do something like that today, it would kind of throw off my entire to-do list and deliverables that my team might need from me and so forth. So we have to plan and map some of those bigger projects. Now, I have time in my calendar that'll say like deep project work or, bigger project work. And if we haven't gotten super specific, then yeah, I can get a little immersed in a big project during those blocks. But I usually have an idea of what that big project is. So that's part of really owning it and becoming a more dedicated and committed CEO, is to really own your calendar in that way. Like, there's some other creative projects I wanted to work on today, but if I didn't record this podcast, it's going to throw my team off. And now their due dates are way more high pressure than I want. I'm very committed to never really asking them to turn around a podcast episode faster than a week. Can they? Of course they can. But I want everyone to be really happy with their work-life balance, with their due dates, with their, time that they get to manage on their own. Those are all really important things to me. So nothing is really an emergency, right, when we plan properly. So if you're going to make a big switch, I definitely recommend looking at the date that your current one is going to expire and then working backwards and building out a project to make the switch. It'll make it so much less stressful and more enjoyable. And come to turn out, one of my biggest fears in switching, was like, well, what about all my invoices that are half paid? Or what about my current clients? Is this going to be a total pain? So again, because we worked in ahead of time, a few months ago, I was able to start invoicing over at Honeybook, if I needed to. And then slowly start wrapping up all the open invoices in 17 Hats. Now, I still have a couple, but here's the coolest part that I didn't even know. 17 Hats has a free version where I think you can have up to 3 or 4 invoices a month, and it's free. So I'm actually able to still wrap up all of those open invoices over at 17 Hats and not even have to pay for it, which is great. So that was like a nice little surprise that they have a free version. So it wasn't like I stopped paying and I lost all of my information. Everything is still in there in my archives and I can access anything that I need, which is really, really great. So a high five to 17 Hats for that. Another reason I switched was the affiliate program in Honeybook. 17 Hats, I think, gives away like Amazon gift cards, but they don't have a really strong affiliate program. And because I work with a lot of clients one-to-one and I'm really helping them build things out, I always want to have this kind of guidebook, right, of platforms and programs that I use. So if these companies have affiliate programs, that is a huge perk for me and it ends up paying for itself. So that was another driver of my decision was knowing that Honeybook has a really, really strong affiliate program. They provide us with tons of resources and anything that we could possibly need to promote Honeybook we have. And 17 Hats just didn't really do that. It was kind of just a byproduct of you send a couple referrals and you get an Amazon gift card or something. So that was a big one. And that was pretty much the main reasons where we wanted to keep our monthly costs down because I'd much rather invest in like a new software, like something with AI technology that my team can use, or invest in team members than continue paying for a software that I'm not using a ton. And then the affiliate program was a big driver. And I just love Honeybook's community. I love Natalie Frank. And, it felt good to join a lot of the other creative educators over there that I admire so much. And I've been really curious to see how Honeybook's rebrand does. Like I said, I saw their TV commercial the other day, which was pretty cool. So there you have it. If you're needing to make a big decision in your business or you're trying to decide if a software or platform is right for you, then get really clear on the cost, how much you're going to be using it. Are you just needing 1 or 2 features? Are you going to be able to maximize the features? Does it have a really great affiliate program so that you can refer it to all your clients and students? And do you have help to make this transition? I know so many business owners that purchase a software out of like shiny object syndrome and they don't even use it, right? And then that money is just lost. So let's not be the person that pays for the gym membership and never goes. So hopefully that was helpful. Try not to lose too much time and energy making these decisions. Most successful business owners and successful people have mastered the ability to make quick decisions. Still something I'm working on because it's not always easy for me. I think we spent almost 3 hours in IKEA the other day trying to pick out a bed for Anthony because I get decision fatigue so bad that making so many decisions in my business bleeds into my life and then it just becomes hard to make decisions. But making a quick decision is sometimes better than fixating on the right decision because when it comes to programs like 17 Hats or Honeybook, they're both great. It is honestly win-win. So trust your gut and make a quick decision and don't worry about it being right or wrong because there's always going to be lessons to learn. There's always going to be opportunities for new and better platforms. None of that is going away. So the best thing that we can do is make these quick, actionable decisions to implement them and then to audit it again in 6 months or a year. We need to constantly audit our business and the programs we're using the places we're spending our time and energy and all that good stuff. So I hope that was helpful. Let me know by sending me a DM on Instagram at elizabeth.henson. Again, you guys can reach out to me anytime if you're interested in help with your community-based marketing. And I will see you guys inside the Community Builder on Facebook. You can go to Facebook and search the Community Builder for our online community, which is a group about groups. That's why I love it. That's all we do is talk about groups over there. And if you're interested in trying Honeybook, you can access a coupon code and all the discounts over at elizabethhenson.co/honeybook coupon code. We will link that in the show notes at elizabethhenson.co/E114 and head on over there. And you can also use my last name, Henson, as a coupon code if you just go to honeybook.com. All right, enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys later.